So what's up? I'm Dallas with Nile.
This is Karl.
We'd like to show you a couple of things. I think right now we're going to show you how to play Black Seeds of Vengeance. I think at first we're just going to go through the song and play it along with the drum tracks. And then we'll maybe break it down section by section.
Well, we're tuned to drop A, which is sort of like a baritone B tuning, but we drop the bottom string down a whole step. So it's drop A, but it plays and feels like it's drop D with more balls. What I have on here is a very heavy bottom, 70, 50, 38, 17, 12, 10. And I do it that way, you know, so I can be heavy with the rhythms, but I have lots of expressive bendability on the top notes.
My string gauge is a little thicker on the other side here, on the smaller strings. This is a 13, 17, 26 wound, 38, 48, and 70. And the reason why I do that is just, it's not so great for the bending. Yeah, I had to get used to that after years and years of playing like jazz mediums and stuff like that. So I kind of got used to that, but I really like, you know, the clarity of the chords, you know, and the way they ring. So that kind of helps with that. But I mean, you know, if you're going to have like lower tuning like that with the guitar, I mean, you've got to have thicker strings. You know, it's just going to flop around everywhere, especially on the rhythm ones. On the lead ones, it's not so bad. You can go pretty thin with those and get like some, you know, good, nice, buttery feel. We're using the Tortic Sharps, and they are the 1.35, I believe.
Yep. I was using the Dunlop Stubby Jazz 3 purple thingies, yeah. And when we were tracking the record, there was a rhythm guitar part, a really fast blistering part, that I was having trouble getting the clarity out of it. I was like really digging down and, you know, attacking the thing, and I just wasn't getting the clarity. And I picked up one of Dallas's Dunlop Tortex 1.35 Sharps, and all of a sudden I was like, hey, wow. I can not only hear it, but it's like half as like difficult. It takes half the force. And I think it's because not only is the pick stiffer, but the point is much more pointy.
So here's the verse riff, regular speed, somewhere close to it. You know, you can do it that way. If you want to add a little more, I think there's a couple of times, if you listen to the tracks, a bit more muted. So it's like, you know, a little more muted. Sometimes I got to break out this table thing. You know, but that's basically it. Just, and then, you know, slow. And then there's a harmony there that goes with it, octave harmony. Yeah, and that's pretty much it.
The chorus, yeah, it's kind of like, it's a root fifth kind of thing. And I noticed that there was just, with the drop tuning, you know, you've got your power chord right there. And you can get that change like pretty easy. So I went, we could do something with that.
Okay, this is my solo in Black Seeds of Vengeance. Slow, it just starts with a bend. I believe it's right here. Just a whole step bend, and then I go into a. You know, I haven't broken that one down in a while. Just kind of do it. So let me think about that a second. Okay, I'm in the right position. So I bend here. And then I do like kind of a 4-pattern harmonic minor thing down. then I go. And then the end of it harmonizes with Karl and then starts in his solo, which is the. And that's pretty much it. It sounds a lot more difficult over the higher speed, you know?
I think it's like a stereotypical thing you expect to hear when you're talking about ancient Egyptian kind of things like you see in a movie. There's a lot of root and fifth parallel stuff in it. It just sounds that way, so we went, what the heck? It's fun to do, it sounds evil, it's very Slayer-like. And if it sounds like Slayer, it must be cool. I think that solo section, there's like, there's some bendy things going on where I'm bending half steps and kind of dragging it out. There's a little bit of diminished scale work. One of those kind of licks. And then when it comes to Dallas is hitting the chords, or the octave chords, and I'm like working one note against it, where on the first bar, I'm like, where are we here? Hit the break there.
Okay, coming out of the.
And the idea here is that this note takes on different meanings depending on which note it's played against in the backing track. Like it's a fifth here, and then it's a sixth, then it's the root, and it sort of evolves the meaning without changing the notes. Kind of like a jazz idea.
Well, for me personally, you know, before I started playing in Nile, I always picked on the fours. You know, but, you know, I started jamming with Karl, and he saw it as eights. And actually what it allowed me to do, once I figured that out, I was like, oh, that's a great idea. It actually enables me to pick faster. Because instead of trying to accent on every, you're accenting. You know what I mean? Let me show that with the amp real quick. So like a regular kind of like thing would be like, a lot of people would count in the fours. Like, you hear that accent in there, but we count at the eights if it's a 4/4 thing. You know, it's easier to get faster. And then of course, if you're doing like 3/4 or whatever, the 6 kind of thing, it's the same deal, it'll be 6s.
I think besides being more manageable as a player, as far as how tense you've got to be, when you're pumping on the fours, you've got to really dig in. It takes a lot of physical tension to do it. You can relax when you're going on the eights. Not only is it like manageable for the player, but for the listener, it takes the death metal pulse back into a pulse that the listener can grab and interpret, and all of a sudden, hey, it's musical again.